fitness was always kind of just like my side thing, like my passion, like maybe it was for a lot of you. Like I had a really strong interest in health and fitness. During college, I taught some classes and things like that, but then I got out of college and I'm like, okay, I'm going into accounting. Like, here's the real world. Like that little like thing will just kind of, be on the back burner. And so I stopped teaching classes and, went all into accounting, and that was really stressful. And I worked for a large corporation here in the Twin Cities, and month end and year end and all of those terms, like they still give me weird feelings because it was such a stressful like time in my life, and I just wasn't fulfilled. So I always say that I liked my job, but I didn't love my job. And kind of my vision with coaching, well, with life before I knew about coaching, is I just wanted to wake up every day excited. And I always I would say that, and I would say it to Steve, and I would say it to other people. And there's those people who are like, oh, it's your job. Like that's life. That's just how it's going to be. And I just wasn't really willing to accept that. I'm like, no, I'm not going to like feel blah every single day waking up until I'm 70. And so after about 6 years in corporate America, I was like, I remember vividly sitting at the dinner table with Steve, and I started crying. And he was like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I just feel so blah. And I feel like I'm checking all the boxes and doing all the things. And we got married and we had a house and I had a good job and he had a good job. But I just felt super defeated. I don't know if you guys have ever felt like that. And it's hard because you can't really explain it, because you feel so grateful that you have the things. And like my job paid really well too. But like I felt this huge fulfillment gap. And I would drive to work in the morning and I would be like, is this really it? Like, is this really it? And I would come home feeling that same way after I had like busted my butt all day long. And, I was getting promoted and I had moved around with my company a few different times, but I'm like, deep in my heart, I knew I was climbing a ladder that was on the wrong building. If you've ever heard that expression, I really like it, because that was just me to a T. And if you're there, I've been there, and you're going to get through it. So one day at lunch at my corporate job, I went down to a fitness class because we had a nice gym there. And the fitness instructor and I got to talking, and she was like, have you ever thought about being a Beachbody coach? I don't even know if she said that. She just said, like, have you ever thought about coaching? And I was like, I don't know what that is. And she's like, oh, well, you can like help people online in accountability groups. And I was like, that sounds kind of cool. And she added me to her free group that she had going at the time. And like a week later, I signed up to coach. I bought the 21-day fix challenge pack with chocolate vegan Shakeology, and I thought it tasted like dirt. But I was like, I'm going to do this because I like the concept of like all of this. I just liked that I could help people online. And you guys, I had no idea what I was doing. And actually, she didn't have any idea what she was doing either. She doesn't coach anymore. So I kind of just started to figure it out on my own. But I never knew what I wanted this to kind of become. All I knew is that I liked options, and that I liked how it made me feel. And I liked that it could give me freedom in time, like if I wanted it to, from my corporate job. Didn't know that up front, but I was like, hey, might as well build something on the side. That's kind of cool. And in the meantime, it's giving me a lot more energy and happiness as I go to the place that I'm not that excited to go. I never wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. So like Megan and I are kind of different like that. And, she's kind of like evaluating how she wants her days to look and all of that. But I never had aspirations to be like, I want to become a full-time coach so that I can be a stay-at-home mom. Just like not really who I am. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to rule that out. I just want to create options. So this was 4 years ago when I started, and I built it very gradually, and I'll kind of talk about what I've done. But now I am to a place where I do it full time. I started coaching full time about 2 years in. And I started coaching full time when I was earning $1,000 a week. I'm super transparent about that, because for me and Steve, my husband, that was always kind of like the goal. Like if you would make $1,000 a week as a coach, that's $52,000 a year. And for me, that was kind of my starting level and in corporate accounting. And so for us, that was kind of like the place. And so I started earning that. And that's when we made the decision, you know what, why don't you give this a go? It makes you so happy. Like, let's give it a try. So I did. And you guys, I fell in love with it. And I'm still in love with it. It is like my dream job. We do have a full-time nanny. And so I usually leave the house to work. Sometimes I stay in here and work, but you can see there's like, it's always a mess in here. And so, you know, your goals can be whatever they want to be. Like maybe you're where I was and maybe you're about to have kids or maybe you have kids. Like just let this be a vessel to options, because you might change your mind and you might just learn like, oh, I do want to do this full time and I want someone to watch my kid. I don't know. Megan, is there anything more on that? Because I know we were kind of talking about vision and.
Nope, that was perfect. Thank you.
Okay, good deal. I always like when coaches shared, like, I didn't want to do this to be home with my kids, because that's not something that I personally connected with. And Megan and I we had a really good discussion about that when we were in Scottsdale. Yes, options are freeing. So what I want to share with you guys about tonight specifically is I'm not a massive recruiter. You know, sometimes on the wake up calls you hear like SC 50, SC 100. I'm not a massive recruiter and I don't have a big following on Instagram. I have like 9,000 followers, you know, and for being 4.5 years in, like that's not that many. It's not like 50,000 like you see some of these coaches. And I've built very like steadily. I don't want to say slowly because I don't think it was exactly slow, but it was very steady. And so in the beginning, I made it my non-negotiable that I would hit SC6, that I would help 3 people. And I made that my non-negotiable because my husband was like, yeah, you can do this, but like, don't lose money. Like, sounds cool. Sounds like it's right up your alley, but don't lose money. And I was like, yeah, true. I'm not going to lose money. And so, you know, helping 3 people gets you SC6, and that's your profitability point as a coach. And so I always made that my goal. But the thing that maybe I did differently, that I have a lot of coaches, you guys, that hit SC6 and then they stop. Hit SC6 and then they stop. And that's the bare minimum. Like I look at as SC6 as like a B minus, like a C grade. You know, it's like if you want this to become something, if you want it to become 6 figures or $1,000 a week, I really believe you've got to be doing SC10 plus. Because it just fills your pipeline with that many more people who can then become coaches. And if you're just started and you're doing SC6, I think that's wonderful. Or if you're at SC2, like I'm proud of you, you know, you're going to get there. It doesn't mean you're a failure if you've never gotten there yet, but I do think you've kind of got a level set with yourself. So I made that my goal. And then shortly thereafter, I became SC10. And then, you know, some months it would be SC20. And I've always kind of been around like 20 to 30, 20 to 40, call it. But in doing that, you guys, I put a lot of focus on culture and community. It's like my favorite thing to talk about. And I feel like no matter how many people you bring in, if you focus on the people and relationships with the people, you can get very, very good at this. I like to call it leading with heart. So going beyond just the SC points and that instant hit of the commission check and really helping people get results, have fun, feel loved, and a lot of times then they want to do this with you. Points matter, right? And recruiting does matter. So I don't like when people say, well, it's not about the points anyway. It's like, well, those points are people. You know, and it's like, okay, whether you want to talk about it in points or people, like you do have to bring people in to help people. And so none of this will matter unless you have the people, what I'm going to talk about. But I want you to know you don't have to have 50 a month or anything like that, because I have done this with probably 5 to 10 people a month since I started. How many of you have ever said, I'm just afraid to lead? Or I don't want to lead. I'm not ready to lead. Anybody? I see some heads nodding. tonight I'm going to share leading across 3 different areas. So leading your challenge groups with heart, leading your business building coaches with heart, and then leading your leaders with heart. So like I know Megan has some leaders, and some of you maybe have like leader coaches on your team, like diamond coaches and above. And so I want to share across those 3 different areas. And the first one is leading your challengers. And I think challenge groups, you guys, sometimes they're that unsexy beast that not a lot of people talk about, but they are so, so important. So how many of you are leading a challenge group? Perfect. And if you're not leading a challenge group, you're probably just like in a challenge group, I'm guessing, with your upline or something. I love the line, our job starts after the sale is made. So you get that sign up and it's like we celebrate it and all of that, but it's like really that's when our work as coaches starts. One thing I do in my challenge group is I make sure I comment on pretty much every single post every single day. And I know that's like a lot, and as you get more people, this gets harder to do. But I really try to create an emotional connection in my challenge groups, because I think back to when I was first a challenger, even in that free group for like 5 days, every time my coach posted or commented on my posts, I just felt so loved. And it made me want to continue to do it more and more and more. And so when my coaches are like, oh, my challenge group is dead or nothing's happening, I'm just always like, are you commenting on everything? And you guys, take it a step farther. Don't just do a yeah girl or a get it or a great job. Like I always try to take it a little bit farther. Like, oh my gosh, Stacy, I can't believe you did your workout after you were at the office all day long today. I know your job's been super stressful lately. It makes it so much more meaningful, and it just doesn't take that much more time. So I try to do that, or I'll compliment them on their shirt, or that they're looking slim, or, all of the things that just make them feel. The moms, I'm always like, oh my gosh, you got it done early, like before the kids were even awake. Can't wait. See you again tomorrow. This will change it, you guys, because I've been in some challenge groups where the coaches don't do this. It's just, yeah, nice work. Yeah, nice work. There's no emotional connection there. And this will take you from good to great. If your challenge groups are dead, how many of you have had a dead challenge group? Yeah. If you haven't, you will at some point, probably. It kind of means that you are dead. And it's not meant to be rude, but it's like you need to fix it fast. Don't wait till the next group. Don't wait until the next launch. Don't wait until Morning Meltdown 100 is over. Like, fix it as soon as you can. I go to Pinterest all the time for challenge group ideas, and I love to bring creativity into my groups, because because I have people who have been with me for 4 years. It's like I gotta bring some fun for them and keep them showing up every day. So some things that I'll do, I like theme days, even still 4 years later. My girls love T-shirt Tuesday. I try to do that like every few months, where you just take out a funny T-shirt from your closet. I'll do like partner pair ups, and I'll assign everyone a partner. I will do podcast pop-up challenges. Like when it gets dead, I did this last week. I'll take a screenshot of a podcast, like Rachel Hollis one, or one that you think would be relevant for your challengers. And I'll put a link to that podcast in the post. And I'll say like, okay, anyone who listens to this podcast by 9 p.m. tonight and drops their comments, their takeaways in the comments, goes into a drawing for Starbucks gift card or something like that. And you guys, adults love prizes, and it gets people going, and it gets them doing PD. The other thing is I share a lot of what I'm doing in the challenge group, besides just my workout and my shake. I will take out like my PD journal from the morning, and I'll take a selfie while I do that. And I'll be like, I just did, my morning personal development and wrote in my journal. And you just get people thinking like coaches before they're even a coach. I put my Energize in there. I always talk about products, and I don't just say like added collagen to my shake. I talk about like the benefits. And if you're a new coach and maybe you're not using a lot of the products, you guys, try the products. try the products and report back to your challenge groups about them. Like I always give little testimonials in my challenge groups because those are your customers. Those are the people who are, going to add on to the share cart and going to buy more things, especially if they see you using it. Lauren, I use the challenge tracker app 95% of the time. I am trying a Facebook group right now, and there's just pros and cons to both. I was kind of annoyed that the app kept bombing like last month, but I've used the app so much, and I have so many challengers right now who are like, where's the app group? And I'm like, okay. So maybe I'll go back to that next month. But there are pros and cons, and we could talk about them all. But I think you just got to do what works best for you. And sometimes I do kind of go back and forth. But I will say I don't like having groups in two places because I feel like it takes my energy away from both of them. What I look at on Pinterest, I would just type in like fun theme ideas or fun icebreaker questions. Like 2 weeks ago in Morning Meltdown group, our group was getting so quiet, like maybe some of yours are right now. And I said, I'm going to take it away from like the workouts and stuff. And I'm just going to we're going to do like get to know you week. And so we just asked these funny icebreaker questions. Like we had one pinned every single day, and they were funny. Like, what's the biggest pet peeve you have about your husband? And we were just like lighting them up there was so many comments on these random questions. So, they're health and fitness groups, yes, but don't be afraid to add your own personality and stuff. Back in the springtime, I did a group called This Is 30. I'm 31, but I thought that would be like a fun theme. And it was just like anyone who's in that stage of life where, you want to stay at home and you don't want to drink too much because you don't feel good then. You want to take care of yourself and you really value a good night of sleep. And that's kind of how I promoted it. And there was so much interest. So just be creative with your themes. I do open a new challenge group every month. Again, so many different ways to do groups, but I've found for myself that it keeps the energy higher, and that, people they tend to fall off throughout the 4 weeks, and then I start up and they come back. And then that's kind of the circuit. And then when I'm adding new people, they're getting in on that fresh start. And so they kind of feel like they're part of the crowd too. In challenge groups and in general, give more than you take. And it feels defeating because you're giving so much and you're like, man, this person, like, they won't become a coach. And whatever. You just have to learn that you're going to give more than you take, and it does come back around. And if you've never read the book called The Go-Giver, it is so good. I highly recommend it. There's this quote that I heard: you'll never be happy in life unless you learn to give 60 and take 40 in everything. And I just approach this business like that every day. And I try to give more, give more, give more. And then all of a sudden you get these wins of like people coming to you versus ask. It's like, just start to give. I know Megan is like a champ at this. Okay. So if you have any questions on challenge groups, we can talk about that at the end, but I really love challenge groups. It's like Caitlin, my coach, who Megan knows, she's always like, oh my God, you're so obsessed with challenge groups. And I'm like, yeah, that's because for me, that's where a lot of the magic happens, and that's where we get people results. And I think sometimes as a network, we forget that, like, that's why we're all here, right? To get people results. And yes, then they turn into working coaches and diamonds and all of that. But it's like, if you don't have that part of the funnel, I don't think you're going to have much else. Okay, the second part though, leading your coaches with heart. So the only thing about leading, you guys, the only thing leaders really do is they go first. Leaders go first. And so maybe you have one working coach or two working coaches and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't even know what to do with them because I'm still figuring this out myself. All you got to do is go first. Like, they're going to look at what you do and they will do what you do, not what you say. And I mean, you can say it too, but it's like, they're going to look at, are you getting points on the SC board? They're going to look at, are you posting vulnerable posts? Are you posting in your Instagram stories? Are you rocking your morning routine and sharing your personal development in the challenge groups? Like, I do a lot of that stuff as a role model for my coaches, not just for my challengers. And so if you want a productive team and a team of working coaches, you just got to know you got to rock your own vitals because they're watching every move you make in a good way, right? They signed up with you. They look up to you. That's what they're expecting. I mean, you guys know Megan, she rocks it every single day, and that makes you trust her as your leader. People overvalue their dreams and they undervalue the power of a team. So if what I said at the beginning of the call resonates with you, like, yes, I want this to be a full-time thing, or yes, I want 6 figures or $1,000 a week or whatever, you've got to get a team. You know, unless you're going to be Ashley Molstead and sell like a crap ton of challenge packs every month, you know, like, you guys, it's part of the comp plan to develop a high performing team. And so I just, you know, some new coaches will miss the boat on this for like the whole first year. They're like, I'm not ready to have a team. I'm not ready to have a team. And it's like, well, you're going to have to figure it out somehow, right? If you really want this to develop into, you know, what something like Megan has created. And you're only going to learn that by going first. And inviting your challenge groups or your challengers to coaching, and inviting that girl from Instagram to coaching, and inviting your high school friend that you know would be good at coaching. Like, inviting to coaching is just so huge. And it's so rewarding too. Like, you don't know it until you have your first coaches, but it's almost more rewarding when a coach finds success than when a challenger finds success. Because you're like, oh my gosh, like, she's having business success because I invited her and I helped her, and now this is working for her too. And you guys, it's literally the best thing ever. And I probably waited like 2 months before I started inviting to coaching. And I mean, to me, that seems like not that long. But at the time, I remember sitting there thinking about it. And then the moment I did it, I'm like, well, why didn't I just start asking people to do this sooner? So maybe that's your big takeaway from tonight, is you're going to go send a few coaching invites after this. I really love getting working coaches in person. So I don't know if you guys are local or not, or if you have anyone, you know, in real life that's close to you, but get into the community as much as you can, because this business can feel lonely at times. And even if it's not a coach on your team, you know, maybe it's just someone that you know, or maybe it is one of your challengers. Like, early on, I had about 4 coaches at the time. So I was an emerald, and I said, hey, you guys, come over and we're going to have fajitas on the deck. And so they came over, and I like had this little agenda made, and I gave them all a PD book because I like that kind of stuff. And now I'm like, oh my God, that was so weird that I did that. But we had fun with it, you know? And then we took a selfie. This is like before social media was even that big, as big as it is now. But we took a selfie and we posted it. And the next day, my challenger at the time, Caitlin, who's now an elite coach, was like, oh my gosh, fajitas on the deck, like with all the coaching girls, like, what are you doing? I want to do it. And I don't want to say it's that easy, because it's not all the time, but sometimes it is, you guys. And people want to be part of something bigger. It's why we sign up so many coaches right after Summit, because people are like, I want to be part of something that is productive, something that makes me feel good. Like, I need a tribe. I don't want to sit and watch Netflix at night. I want to hop on Zoom calls like this, you know? And I always think about that, by the way. Like, when I'm on Zoom calls at night, I'm like, I would so much rather be doing this than sitting watching Netflix. Like, wow. Anyway, but creating that culture and that community is what will get people to stick and stay. Not always. Coaches are going to quit. They're going to take a step back. But if you can develop real life connections with your coaches, the more you can do it, the better. I really, really believe that. When people quit, and notice I said when, because they are going to, and it may be your challengers or maybe your coaches, and it stings every single time, you guys. I still have trouble with it, but you cannot take it as a personal thing. You just can't. And how I like to think about it is, they needed this in the season of life. and I helped them in that season of life, and now they've moved on, and that's okay. So maybe you haven't had that happen yet, but it will, and you can remember me saying they needed you in that season of life, and it's okay. And sometimes they come back, so just always treat everyone so respectfully, and like golden rule. And some of my coaches who went away or stepped back have now came back, and they're my diamond coaches. So you just really never know. And a lot of them have told me like it was because of the culture. Like, I knew you weren't going anywhere, and like I saw all you girls doing this together, and like I knew I could do it too. Yeah, sometimes they come back. Last part is leading leaders with heart. And so let's say you have some coaches that are, I'll say strong emeralds or diamonds. How many of you are star diamonds on the call? Awesome. Okay, so that means you have diamond coaches on your team. And what I will say to this is really get to know your leaders as people. And I know it's like, well, duh, I do know them as people, but get to know their personality types so that you can really meet them where they're at, because not all of us are motivated by the same things, and I can say something to my coach Caitlin, and I can say the same thing to my coach Jamie, and it's not going to be received the same. It might really help Caitlin, and it might actually hurt Jamie. So and that's not meant to scare you. It's just like really, really get to know their personality type. So I'm sure you guys are familiar with the Enneagram. We've been talking about it like a ton. Or any personality test. Like it doesn't matter. There's the gems, and there's like the animals, and Myers-Briggs and DISC, and there's all of these. But I have my diamonds take the Enneagram, and then I really like read into their top 2 types and try to think about, okay, this is how Bridget operates, like, so that when I get on one-to-one calls with Bridget, I can really speak her language. And here's kind of a good example. So I have a coach, Katie. She's a 3 on the Enneagram, which is like the achiever, wants to reach their goals, all of that. And about a year ago, she was pregnant with her second kid, and she was about to have a baby, and she was due on Thanksgiving, and we had a Zoom call like the beginning of November. And she was like 2 coaches from Diamond. And we were talking, and I could tell she was like super, super defeated. And she was like, oh, I want to hit Diamond so bad, but like, Molly, I don't feel good. Like, the baby is coming, and I have to go to the doctor today. And I'm like trying to do all this stuff around the house. And she has a toddler too. And Katie is in a rough spot. I will also say we were trying to push for 10-star. I was trying to push for 10-star, and Katie was going to be one of the 10. And I was like, man, Katie, like, she only needs 2 more coaches. Can you just do this? But we're talking, and I was like, man, she's not in a good place to do this right now. And so I just said, you know what, Katie, like, I know you're an achiever and you want to do this, but like, maybe we should just wait. Like, it doesn't make you a failure. You're still worthy. You're still an amazing coach, but maybe we should just hold off keep doing your thing. Like, it's going to happen. And I bet it's going to happen in December or January. And you guys, I could just literally see her like find peace and relax and calm down. And, I think there's a time to push our coaches. And then I think there's a time to like really meet them where they're at. And Katie wasn't making excuses. It's like, I'll give tough love all day long. But in some situations, it's like, okay, like, let's treat humans as humans, and let's really try to meet people where they're at. And so Katie kept doing her thing. She didn't hit Diamond. She wasn't part of the 10-star, but she was part of the 15-star like 3 months later. And now she's almost 1-star, and like, she has just had a great coaching year. And she just told me a couple weeks ago, we had a retreat. She's like, if you wouldn't have told me that it was okay if I didn't hit Diamond, like, I might have quit. Not because she didn't like me, but because she would have felt like pressure, and she didn't need that at that point of her life. So I also have Jamie is one of my coaches, and Jamie is a type 9, and I learned that Megan is a type 9 too. And Jamie, very similar to Megan, she will kind of sit back, she won't say much, but she knows a lot, and she kind of sells herself short. She's super laid back, super chill. But I've learned that leading Jamie, I have to like call on her and I have to ask her to step up the plate because the girl has brilliant ideas and she's always doing her stuff. She's just kind of like a quiet, more laid back worker. And then I have a lot of type 1s, the perfectionist. And with the type 1s, I've learned how to lead them and how to coach them is to just get them doing it. So saying things like, it doesn't need to be perfect. B- content is better than no content at all. You're going to learn this as you go. Just get into the doing. It's going to get more perfect as you go. Reminding them that like you're not going to be awesome at it in the beginning. That really helps all my type 1s. So I think that's really helped you guys. And you can do this with your emeralds too. Of course you can. You can do this with anyone. You can do this with your coworkers. The other thing we've done with our leaders is we started doing spouse calls. And how many of you have supportive spouses in this? Okay, a lot of you. That is amazing. If your spouse has like a skill set with this that you don't, which my Steve does, he works full time and stuff, but he'll help me with this like in the evenings and stuff. Steve is like a comp plan kind of nerd. He likes the numbers. He likes the coach office stuff. And I kind of like it too, but I'm like out there getting the people, and leading the groups and doing all the things to keep the wheels on the bus. And he's kind of like looking at placement and volume and how to maximize stuff. And so what we started doing is getting on spouse calls with our leaders. So we don't do this with people until they are like close to diamond or diamond. And we ask about what does the girl want out of this? Typically the girl, what does the coach want out of this? And we ask them that, you guys, so that they start to share their dreams and their vision, because sometimes they haven't even talked about it. Sometimes the guy just sees you on your phone and they're like, okay, she's doing that thing again. Like, don't really know what that is. Don't really know why she's doing it. She's got a job, And so we have these conversations, and sometimes we find that they say like, well, ideally I would like to leave my job, or I really want to go part-time, or I want to pay off this student loan debt. It feels really crippling to me. You'll hear all of it, and it's nice. And then you're helping people as couples too. But then after that, we go through the comp plan just at a high level. And then after that, we show them the coach office and like the main dashboard and like volume and commissions, that type of thing. And then we walk through our own income progression and what that has looked like. And that's helpful, you guys. And I'm sure Megan would do this with any of you. But it's helpful for them to see like where they can go. Right? Because when I started and I was earning $14 a week, I was like, man, is this ever going to amount to anything? And, I knew it was a long-term thing or like a multi-year thing. But I think if I would have seen that early on, I would have known, okay, $1,000 comes around, let's just say 2-star, and it can be different for everyone, but $2,000 can come around 5-star. And that has really helped our leaders. That last thing I will say is having an infinite mindset with all of this. And what does that mean? It's a Simon Sinek concept. I really like him. He wrote the book, It Starts With Why, and Leaders Eat Last. And an infinite mindset concept is like, you are going to push for your goals, right? We all have goals. We're all trying to probably lock in stuff before the end of the year, or maybe you're trying to just hit Success Club for the first time. But if you don't hit them, if you don't set out those things that you promised yourself and that you're really working towards, you still get up and you try to do it the next day. You guys, I see so many coaches miss Diamond or miss Success Club or miss Success Starters in the 3rd month. I've seen that happen. And then they stop. And they're like, well, I didn't do it. I missed that. Like, I feel like a failure. And it's like, no, like to fail is to stop. Like you just have to keep going. And I've just had a lot of peace with this, like, especially the last year, like no matter what happens, I'm going to be here. I'm a stick and stay kind of person. So it doesn't really, it matters. I'm going to try to shoot for stuff. I'm an Enneagram type 3. So I love trying to crush big goals, but if I miss them, I'm still going to get up and do it again the next day. and maybe my date just moves out. So, I've had 3 months in my entire 4 years plus that I didn't hit SC and I grew and felt, yes, that is what I'm talking about. You're going to learn from it. And, maybe you can reflect on, okay, why didn't I hit it? Like, what went wrong? Did I not have a full enough pipeline? Like, did I kind of tap the brakes one month? I think it's good to reflect, you guys, but I don't think it's good to be like, hands up, Megan, I'm done. Knew I wasn't meant for this. Because it's like we have all failed, but you just got to get back up and try again. So.
I love it. So good. Do you guys have questions? I love you talking about supporting your leaders and stuff, because I feel like that not many people talk about that. We're all, caught up kind of in how to hit Success Club and that type of stuff.
Right.
So I love hearing what you do for your leaders.
Good. Reading through the chat box. Super motivated by being a part of something bigger. Yeah, I was too, Megan. I was a 3, I really feel that. Enneagram is life. Yeah, now you guys are all going to go look at the Enneagram numbers.
I think quite a few of them know. It's pretty big on our team for sure also.
What are all your numbers? Just hold them up. I know Megan's a 9. Okay, I see 3s and 2s and 1s. Oh, I see another 9. Oh, a few 9s. And a 6, a 5, 6, a 7. A 7.
We have a decent amount of 1, 2, 3s, 7s.
Yeah.
9s.
You guys have a really good mix. I saw a lot of you as 2s. So with the 2, you guys, you want to help people and you want to nurture and you love people, and sometimes we can be people pleasers. 2 is my secondary, so I kind of know a lot about this one. You just have to remember that crushing your goals and getting the points is the way to help the people. Okay, so however you need to think about it, just remember sending your invites, there are people you're going to help on the other side of that. And that's how you're going to pay it forward and spread the ripple and love and nurture. So I always think about that when I'm like, I don't want to send my invites. I don't really care. I'm like, oh, but I do really care.
All right. Any other questions? I definitely love your last thought of the infinite mindset concept. I've never really understood, I guess, failure, because I've missed Premier, I've missed Elite, I've missed deadlines on ranks. If there's a goal that I've set, I've probably missed it once before I actually hit it. So I never have understood that, but I get the idea of kind of a limited mindset almost.
Yeah. Well, and that's good, Meg, that stuff hasn't really affected you or made you, I'm sure it bothered you.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
It's probably a strength of the 9. Being I didn't fail.
Feedback characteristic.
Still here.
Life is good.
Life is good.
Okay. I was trying to look at my notes, seeing if I had anything else.
Y'all are kind of quiet. I hope I didn't put you to sleep. Good.
Okay. Last thing I want to hit on that I thought was really big, because you were the first person that I've ever heard say this before. And it has really impacted me in the way I think about people leaving. And that was when you said that you got to help them in a season of their life, and then they moved on. And that was something, I don't remember where you said it. It was maybe at Summit or something like that. When we were just talking, it just came up in conversation. And I remember thinking man, I've never heard anybody say it that way, but I really love that, because we get so caught up on people are going to be with us for life. And that's just not the case. That's not realistic for people's lives and lifestyles, and things change. So the fact that we got to have an impact on them for 1 month or 2 months, and that makes it even more important, your first point of the culture and making that impact, that season of their life,
Yeah.
so memorable so that they remember that forever, or down the road when they're ready for it again, they do come back eventually.
Totally.
Whatever the choice is, whether it is that they now are changed and they're on a super great fitness routine, or that they want to join back with you. So I love that for sure.
100%.
I have a quick question that I was just kind of thinking of. You talked about your one coach that you kind of like gave her the grace and said like, you don't like, maybe you'll hit diamond next year. How did you kind of like, I mean, of course we like announce our vision to our team. Like if you were pushing for 10 star at that time, like how do you announce that to your team, but then also like get the right factors? You know what I mean? Like, do you talk one-on-one with your coaches, or is this just like a team-wide thing? I would love to know how you kind of like approach that.
Yeah, I always wanted to know this too before I ever did like a bigger qualification. Like, how do you even do that? So for what are you going for, Lauren? 5?
5, yeah.
Okay, so
all the working parts in the right places.
I've done it a little bit different at 5, 10, and 15. But what I will say is that this is what has worked the best, and that is starting with individual goals. Because if someone doesn't even, if you don't have 5 girls who want to go diamond, then you can't really have the goal of 5 star. You know, it's like your goals have to be aligned with the people on your team. And so I messaged each individual person and I said, hey, I'm thinking about making a push for, let's call it 10 star. And what that means, I explain it because some people don't even know. Some people on this call probably don't even know. What that means is that 10 personally sponsored of my coaches hit diamond, make it, and we'll hold it together for the same 6 weeks, making us a 10 star diamond team. I know you had said like you were wanting to hit diamond, you were wanting to go for the diamond. I'm not sure if that's, still a goal for you, but if it is, I'd love to have you be part of this. But let me explain a little more. If you want to be part of this, you have to know it's going to take sacrifice. You're going to have to do your vitals every day. You're going to have to post. You're going to have to send your invites. And you're going to have to sign up X amount of coaches by X date. Give a date. And then give an option for an out. If this isn't your thing and you don't want to do this right now and it's too busy of a time or whatever, no worries. There's no pressure here. Would love to have you be part of it, but if not, it's okay. And I will tell you, Lauren, that I had some girls write back and say, oh, like, I think I really want to be part of this, but I don't really want added stress right now, or like my husband's going to be traveling and my life is going to be kind of crazy. And I just made the decision for them that they wouldn't be part of it. Because you don't want to get into those qualifications and drag people. And because I have done that too, and it's just not fun. Especially when you do have people who are like, yep, I get it. There's going to be added stress. So I'm just very, very real about what it's going to take. And then I do give people an out. Yeah. Because
I love that.
Some of the girls who told me, they didn't want added stress to be part of 15. I was like, no big deal. And now they're hitting diamond now, and we hit 15 back in June. And so it's like, it just wasn't their time. But it was for some people love that, and some people want to be part of a team thing and they want to push together. And so don't be shy to ask people too.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
What does it actually look like to push together? Like I message those girls, and then like we have a working power half hour in the morning, and that's when we do our invites and connections and things like that. But like, what else are you doing when you say we are pushing together? What are the daily activities? How are you checking in with them? Do you have a separate group?
Yeah. I've always done message threads. And I just share what I do. Like, hey guys, here's my posting plan for the week. Hey guys, here's a picture of my tracker. I just sent 10 invites. How's everyone else doing? Anyone have questions on things? Hey guys, I'm going to make a heartfelt vision post tonight. Here's what I'm thinking. What do you think about it? What are you guys posting tonight? Like, I just keep them super accountable with the basics. And I guess for 15 Star, we had a couple calls too, or I just like opened it up and I'm like, if anyone wants to hop on a Zoom tonight and talk about anything, like here's a Zoom link. I don't know if that helps you, Paige.
No, that does. That makes it a lot simpler.
Okay, good.
Because a lot of times I feel like, okay, there has to be something else, because I do feel like that is the way I go about it, but it's like other people have to be doing more than that, right? So
yeah,
that's helpful.
Mm-hmm. And then during the qualification, that's when I do get a little bit, I'll say more management style. And I, like on Friday morning, I'll wake up and I'll look at the coach office and I'll be like, hey, how's everyone looking for the week ahead? Like, check your stuff today so that you can be solid by Sunday. And I put it on them because people need to learn how to check that stuff. But in the beginning, they don't know how. So I explain it, like, go to your drill down, check your emeralds, 50 PV, all the intricacies. And then we would just have like a solid by Sunday goal. And so on Sunday, I would be like, was everyone solid going into the week? Like, take a look. And then I would just do that every week. And I would be like, this is our 5th week. This is our 6th week. And I wish I would have known that stuff in like 5 Star, because I did not know what I was doing. But you know what? It all worked out. So
I love that. I keep seeing like, love how simple it is. Love how simple it is. And we're very good at overcomplicating things.
Oh yeah, I am too, you guys. Totally.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have questions? One last chance. To ask the Molly Asplin.
Oh dear.
You like that? All right. All right. Well, thank you so much, Molly, for just pouring into us. Tons of notes, tons of things that are super actionable that we can go implement. So I'm very excited about that. So
good to hear. Awesome, ladies. I hope you have a great rest of the year.
All right. See ya.
Take care.